Greetings and a very good day to all of you. I hope you're all in good health and spirits. If you're serious about reaching your goals and creating the life you really want, then this video is for you. We're going to dive into 5 powerful secrets that can help you achieve everything you've ever dreamed of. Whether you're looking to improve your career, grow personally, or just find more fulfillment in life, these strategies will give you the tools you need to get there. But here's the thing, it's not going to happen by chance. You have to be intentional, you have to take action, and most importantly, you have to stay focused on what really matters. So, if you're ready to stop making excuses, start taking charge of your future, and see real progress, stick around. We're about to unlock the keys to getting everything you want in life. You'll learn how to build a clear vision, turn failures into lessons, and stop letting distractions control your time. Plus, we'll dive into how to visualize your success and celebrate the small wins along the way. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Because these are the strategies that will help you make your dreams a reality. A huge thank you for your support. It means the world to our team, who work tirelessly to bring you this content. We pour our hearts into every video, and your engagement makes it all worthwhile. Now, let's get started. 1. Start with a clear vision. Let's talk about something that can truly change your life. If you want to achieve something, anything, you need to start with a clear idea of what that is. You've got to know where you're heading before you can get there. It's simple, but powerful. Take a moment to ask yourself, what do you want out of life? Not what someone else wants for you, but what you really want. Think about it. What would make you excited to get up every morning? What kind of life would make you proud? You can't just say, I want to be happy, or, I want to be successful. Those are fine ideas, but they're too vague. What does happiness look like for you? What does success feel like? Maybe it's being able to spend more time with your kids. Maybe it's building a career you're passionate about. Maybe it's improving your health or traveling the world. Whatever it is, make it real in your mind. Picture it clearly. The people, the places, the experiences. See it, feel it. Now that you've got that picture in your head, it's time to write it down. This is where many people stop. They think, I've got it in my mind, isn't that enough? No, it's not. Writing it down makes it real. It's no longer just a thought floating around in your head. It becomes something tangible. Get a notebook, a piece of paper, or even your phone. Write down every detail. Where are you? What are you doing? How does it feel? The more specific, the better. Don't hold back. This is your vision, your future. Once you've got it written down, keep it somewhere you can see it. Don't just tuck it away in a drawer. Look at it every day. Some people put it on their bathroom mirror so it's the first thing they see in the morning. Others make it the background on their phone. You could even create a vision board, cutting out pictures and words that represent what you're working towards. Whatever works for you, just make sure you're reminded of it regularly. When you keep your vision in front of you, it stays fresh in your mind. It gives you direction. It keeps you focused. Now, let's talk about breaking it down. Big goals can feel overwhelming. You might look at that vision and think, how am I ever going to make this happen? The key is to break it into smaller steps. Think of it like climbing a staircase. You don't leap to the top in one jump. You take it one step at a time. Each step brings you closer to your goal. For example, if your vision is to start a business, don't try to do it all at once. Start with research. Learn about your market. Write a business plan. Save money. These are all small steps, but each one moves you closer to that big goal. The same applies to any vision. Want to get healthier? Start by drinking more water. Then, add a daily walk. Then, focus on your meals. Want to improve your finances? Begin by creating a budget. Then, tackle your debts. Then, start saving. Step by step, you'll get there. Of course, life isn't always smooth sailing. Things will come up. Plans will change. That's okay. Be flexible. If one path doesn't work, find another. Don't let challenges stop you. Instead, use them as opportunities to grow. Every obstacle you face is a chance to learn something new, to build your strength, to prove to yourself that you're capable. Keep your eyes on the prize, even if the route to get there isn't what you expected. Another important thing to remember is to celebrate your progress. It's easy to focus on how far you still have to go and forget how far you've already come. Take time to acknowledge your wins, no matter how small they seem. Did you complete a step toward your goal? Celebrate it. Did you make it through a tough day without giving up? Celebrate that, too. These small wins add up. They keep you motivated. They remind you that you're moving in the right direction. And here's something many people overlook. You have to protect your vision. Distractions are everywhere. There will be people who don't understand your goals. There will be moments when you're tempted to take the easy route or settle for less. Don't let those things pull you off track. Learn to say no to the things that don't align with your vision. Your time and energy are precious. Use them wisely. Finally, make a commitment to yourself. This is your life. No one else is going to create it for you. Decide right now that you're going to do whatever it takes to make your vision a reality. It won't always be easy, but it will be worth it. Commitment is powerful. When you decide that quitting isn't an option, you find a way to keep going. You find the strength to push through challenges. You find the courage to take risks. And that's what it takes to succeed. So, let's sum it up. Know what you want. Write it down. Keep it in front of you. Break it into steps. Stay flexible. Celebrate your progress. Protect your vision. And commit to making it happen. This is how you create the life you want. It all starts with you. The future is yours to shape. Let's get to work. 2. Turn failures into lessons. You know, life is full of surprises. Some of them are exciting. Some of them are challenging. And in many cases, it's not the easy wins that shape us. It's the struggles, the failures, the setbacks. But here's the thing that most people don't understand. Failure is not something to fear. It's not something to be ashamed of. Failure is one of your best teachers, if you let it be. When we fail, it's easy to feel defeated, to feel like we've hit a wall. And sometimes it feels like the world is telling us, it's over. But here's the secret. Failure is never final, unless you let it be. It's a stepping stone. It's a lesson. It's an opportunity to grow. Now, I want you to think about this. No one who has ever achieved great things has done so without failing. That's right. If you look at any successful person, they will tell you about their struggles, their setbacks, and their failures. They didn't give up. They didn't quit. Instead, they chose to learn from those failures and use them to fuel their next move. But here's the catch. You can't just fail and expect to get better. No. You've got to take the time to analyze the failure, to really understand what went wrong. And more importantly, to figure out what you can do differently next time. Failure, when handled right, is the best lesson you can get. Take Thomas Edison, for example. We all know him as the guy who invented the light bulb, right? But what you might not know is that he failed thousands of times before he succeeded. Can you imagine? Thousands of attempts. And what did he say about it? I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That's a mindset, folks. That's what it means to turn failure into a lesson. It's the same for you. Every time you fail, it's not the end. It's a lesson in disguise. You learn what doesn't work, what you need to improve, and what to try next time. You can take that lesson and apply it, or you can let it defeat you. The choice is yours. But here's the good news. When you learn from your failures, you become better. You get stronger. You get smarter. And over time, those failures start to add up to something great. Think about a child learning to walk. They fall. They stumble. They might cry. But every time they get up, they learn something new. Eventually, they walk. They don't give up because of a few falls. They keep going, learning, growing. And that's how they succeed. Now, here's where it gets really powerful. If you can develop the habit of looking at failure as a lesson, you'll start to see opportunity in places where others only see obstacles. Instead of saying, I failed, you'll start saying, I learned. And that shift in mindset is what separates those who achieve great things from those who never get started. When you're in the middle of a failure, it's easy to feel like it's the end of the road. But I want you to remember this. Failure is just a detour, not a dead end. Every successful person has hit roadblocks. They've made mistakes. They've had setbacks. And they've faced challenges. The difference is that they didn't quit. They didn't let it stop them. They learned from it and kept moving forward. So, How do you turn failure into a lesson? First, ask yourself, what went wrong? Don't just ignore the failure and move on. Take the time to really understand what happened. Was it a lack of preparation? Did you not plan well enough? Did you miss an important detail? Whatever it is, learn from it. Every failure has a lesson hidden in it, but you have to be willing to look for it. Second, ask, what can I do differently next time? This is where the power of learning comes in. You see, failure doesn't have to define you, unless you let it. Instead, you can use it to define your next move. This is where growth happens. The key is to take what you learned and apply it. Every time you do that, you get better. And the more you improve, the closer you get to your goals. Here's the truth. No one is perfect. And the road to success is never a straight line. There will be bumps, detours, and unexpected twists along the way. But if you can embrace failure as part of the journey, you'll start to realize that each setback is just a chance to come back stronger. And every time you come back stronger, you're one step closer to success. Now, I know it's not always easy. There will be moments when you feel like giving up. You'll question yourself, your abilities, and your dreams. But that's the time when you need to dig in deeper. That's the moment when you need to remind yourself that this failure doesn't define you. It's just part of the process. You see, failure is not a reflection of who you are. It's just a moment in time, a moment that you can learn from and move beyond. And when you do, you'll find that you've gained more wisdom, more strength, and more resilience than you ever had before. And let me tell you this, the more you learn from your failures, the more confident you'll become. You'll start to trust yourself more, because you'll know that no matter what happens, you can handle it. You can handle the setbacks. You can handle the challenges. And you'll have the courage to keep going. So, don't fear failure. Don't let it hold you back. Use it. Learn from it. Let it push you to be better, to be stronger, to be more focused on your goals. Because if you can turn your failures into lessons, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Remember, success doesn't come from avoiding failure. It comes from learning how to handle failure. And the best part? The more you fail and learn from it, the more successful you become. That's how growth works. And that's how you turn every setback into a setup for your next victory. Failure is not the enemy. Failure is your friend. And when you treat it that way, you'll realize just how powerful it can be. So, go ahead, fail. But fail forward. Learn, grow, and keep moving toward the life you want to create. Because in the end, the greatest lessons are often found in the toughest moments. And the greatest successes are born from the lessons we learn along the way. 3. Cut out excuses. Excuses are easy to make. They're comfortable. They give us a way to avoid facing the truth or taking responsibility for our actions. They let us off the hook when things don't go the way we want. And that's why so many people lean on them. But here's the hard truth. Excuses are nothing but lies we tell ourselves to avoid the hard work required to achieve our goals. Now, before you say anything, let me be clear. We all have reasons. We all face challenges. We all have difficult circumstances. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't comes down to one simple thing: how we handle those challenges. The successful ones don't use excuses. They find a way to make things happen. Think about it. You've heard people say things like, "I don't have enough time," or "I don't have the money," or "I don't have the resources." But the reality is that if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way. And if you don't want it enough, you'll find an excuse. It's that simple. Here's the key. Every time you make an excuse, you're justifying inaction. You're making it easier for yourself to stay in the same place. You're giving yourself permission to quit before you even try. And if you want to get anywhere in life, you need to get rid of those excuses. Look, no one is saying life is easy. It's not. But there are people out there who are dealing with far worse situations than you are, and they're still making it happen. They're still moving forward. They're still going after their dreams. And it's not because they're luckier than you or have things handed to them. It's because they refuse to make excuses. The truth is, excuses are a crutch. They're a way for us to avoid the discomfort that comes with growth. Think about the last time you didn't do something because you told yourself, "I don't have time," or "I'm not good enough." What happened after that? Did you feel good about it? Did you move closer to your goals? Probably not. You stayed stuck. And that's what excuses do. They keep you stuck. They keep you from moving forward. So, here's what I want you to do. The next time you catch yourself making an excuse, stop. Just stop. Take a deep breath and think about what you're really saying. Ask yourself, is this excuse really the reason I'm not moving forward, or is it just a way to avoid doing the hard work? When you start asking yourself this question, you'll begin to see the truth. And here's the thing. Once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. You'll realize how often you've been hiding behind excuses. And that realization will push you to do something about it. That's when things will start to change for you. Because once you stop making excuses, you'll be forced to take action. And that's when success starts to show up. You know, it's easy to blame other people for our problems. It's easy to point the finger at our parents, our bosses, our teachers, our circumstances. But the truth is, we are responsible for our own lives, no one else. And when we take full responsibility for our actions, when we stop blaming others and making excuses, that's when we start taking control. And that's when we start seeing real progress. Let's be real for a second. No one is coming to save you. There's no magic pill. There's no fairy godmother waiting to grant your wishes. If you want something, you've got to go after it. You've got to work for it. And the first step in that process is cutting out the excuses. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but it's hard. I'm just too busy. I get it. Life is busy. But I'll tell you this, successful people are busy too. The difference is that they've learned how to prioritize what matters. They don't let excuses get in their way. They get organized. They manage their time. They make sure they're doing the things that move them closer to their goals. They don't waste time on excuses. What I want you to understand is that the key to achieving your goals is simple. You have to choose to act. Excuses will always be there, waiting for you to give in to them. But you have the power to decide whether or not you'll let them control your life. You have the ability to choose discipline over excuses. Think about this for a moment. What if instead of saying, I don't have the money, you asked yourself, how can I get the money? What if instead of saying, I'm too tired, you asked, how can I find the energy to keep going? What if instead of saying, I don't have enough time, you asked, how can I make time for what matters? These are the kinds of questions that get results. They shift your mindset from limitation to possibility. And when you start thinking this way, you'll be amazed at how many doors open up. You'll begin to see solutions instead of problems. And that's when your life will start to change. I want you to take a moment and think about your goals. Think about the things you've been putting off. The things you've been saying, I'll get to it later. Or, I don't have time for that right now. What would happen if you stopped making those excuses and started taking action today? How would your life be different if you stopped waiting for the perfect time and just started now? The truth is, there's never a perfect time. There will always be something standing in your way. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that successful people don't wait for the perfect moment. They make the moment perfect by taking action. So here's the bottom line. Excuses don't serve you. They don't help you grow. They don't move you closer to your dreams. They only hold you back. The next time you find yourself making an excuse, ask yourself, what am I really avoiding? And then take action anyway. Because action is what turns dreams into reality. Excuses might be easy, but they won't get you where you want to go. So, cut them out. Stop making them. And start taking responsibility for your own success. Because when you do, you'll find that the path to your dreams is much clearer, much easier, and much more fulfilling. 4. Track your progress. When you set out on a journey, whether it's personal growth, career goals, or anything else, one of the most powerful tools you can have is the ability to track your progress. Why? Because progress is not always easy to see in the moment. It can feel slow, and sometimes it can even feel like you're not moving forward at all. But if you track your progress, you'll begin to see how far you've come. And that can be the fuel you need to keep pushing forward. Now, let's talk about why tracking your progress matters. It's simple. Tracking shows you where you are, where you've been, and where you still need to go. It gives you clarity, focus, and direction. When you track your progress, you get a clear picture of the effort you've put in and the results that are coming from that effort. And trust me, that's powerful. It can keep you motivated when things get tough. Here's the thing. Progress doesn't always look like what you expect it to. Sometimes it's small. Sometimes it's not even noticeable right away. But if you're tracking it, you'll see that every little step counts. And that adds up over time. You don't need to take giant leaps every day. You just need to move, even if it's in small ways. Consistent, incremental progress will get you there. So, how do you track your progress? Well, there are a few simple ways to do it, and the key is to make it part of your routine. This is where the magic happens, when you build the habit of tracking. You can do it in whatever way works best for you, but here are a few ideas. First, you can use a journal or a planner. Every day or week, write down what you've accomplished. It could be something big or small, but write it down. Seeing those accomplishments in black and white helps you realize how much you're actually getting done. And if you're not hitting your goals yet, that's okay. Tracking will help you identify where you're falling short so you can make adjustments. It's about learning and improving, not beating yourself up. Second, set measurable goals. Instead of saying, I want to be healthier, say, I want to exercise 3 times a week, or, I want to eat more vegetables every day. These are specific and measurable. Then, track them. You could write them down in a calendar, check them off, or use an app on your phone. When you have measurable goals, tracking becomes much easier and it's easier to see where you're making progress. You can also use metrics or data to track progress. If you're working on something like building a business, you might track how many clients you gain each month, how much revenue you generate, or how many new leads you get. If you're working on personal development, maybe you track how much time you spend reading or how many new skills you learn. The point is to have something tangible that shows how you're moving forward. Another important part of tracking progress is celebrating small wins. This is so important because progress, no matter how small, deserves to be recognized. It keeps you motivated. If you've written a chapter in a book, if you've improved your workout routine, or if you've finished a project at work, celebrate. Even if it's just taking a moment to feel proud of what you've accomplished. These little wins are what keep you going. Tracking your progress also helps you stay focused. Sometimes we get discouraged when we don't see results right away. But when we track our progress, we can look back and see how far we've come. This keeps us from quitting too soon. When you're working towards something big, it can feel like it's taking forever. But when you track every step along the way, you'll realize how much you've grown. And that can give you the encouragement to keep going. Another benefit of tracking your progress is that it helps you adjust. If you're not seeing the results you want, tracking can help you figure out where you might need to change course. Maybe you're not setting the right goals. Maybe you're not spending your time as effectively as you could be. Tracking lets you look at the facts and make adjustments. And that's one of the best ways to keep moving forward. Don't be afraid to make changes along the way. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Here's something to remember. Tracking doesn't just show the good stuff. It also shows where you might have slipped up or where you could improve. But that's okay. Every setback is just another opportunity to learn and do better. When you track your progress, you can look at your challenges objectively, figure out what went wrong, and adjust accordingly. The key is to keep going, even when things don't go as planned. Think about any successful person you admire. They didn't get there by just working hard without knowing where they were. They tracked their progress, whether it was with their health, their business, or their personal development. They knew where they stood. And that helped them keep pushing forward. And that's exactly what you need to do, too. Tracking progress also helps you set better goals. When you look back on what you've done, you can assess if the goals you've set are still aligned with what you truly want. Maybe you've outgrown a goal. Maybe it's time to aim higher. Or maybe you realize you need to adjust your approach. Whatever it is, tracking helps you stay flexible and open to change, which is crucial for continued growth. Now, let's talk about consistency. Tracking your progress isn't something you do once in a while. It's a daily or weekly habit. When you do it consistently, it becomes easier and you start to see patterns. You'll start to notice which habits are helping you and which ones are holding you back. You'll see your efforts paying off. And that consistency will become its own reward. Finally, tracking your progress makes the journey more meaningful. It's not just about reaching the end goal. It's about becoming the person you need to be along the way. Every step forward is a chance to grow, to learn, and to become stronger. And when you track your progress, you're not just keeping an eye on the destination, you're appreciating the journey. So, here's what I want you to do. Start tracking your progress today. Find a simple way to keep track of your goals, whether it's in a journal, on your phone, or with a chart. Track your wins, track your challenges, and most importantly, track your growth. Because every time you track, you're reminding yourself that you are moving forward. You're making progress, and that's something worth celebrating. Tracking your progress will keep you focused, motivated, and accountable. And when you look back and see how far you've come, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. So don't wait. Start tracking now and watch as your small steps add up to big results. 5. Don't compare yourself to others. One of the biggest mistakes people make when working towards their goals is comparing themselves to others. It's easy to do. You look around and see someone else who seems to have it all together, and suddenly you start questioning yourself. Why can't I be as successful as them? Why don't I have what they have? Am I doing something wrong? Sound familiar? Here's the thing. Comparison is a trap. It's a thief of joy. It can derail your progress faster than almost anything else. Because when you compare yourself to someone else, you're measuring your own worth by someone else's standard, someone else's timeline, someone else's journey. And here's the harsh truth. Their journey is not your journey. Every person is on their own path. Everyone has their own struggles, their own victories, their own timeline. What works for someone else doesn't necessarily work for you. And that's okay. That's the beauty of life. You get to carve your own path. But if you keep comparing yourself to others, you'll never fully appreciate the unique journey you're on. Let's break this down. When you compare yourself to someone else, you're only looking at a snapshot of their life. You're seeing their success, their highlights, their perfect moments. What you don't see are the sacrifices they've made, the failures they've endured, the battles they fought behind the scenes. People don't usually show you the struggle, they show you the result. So when you compare your starting point to someone else's finish line, it's like comparing apples and oranges. It's not even a fair comparison. Take a moment to think about your own journey. How far have you come? What lessons have you learned along the way? Sure, maybe you haven't reached the level of success you want yet, but that doesn't mean you're not making progress. The truth is, every day you're growing. Every day you're getting closer to where you want to be. And comparing your progress to someone else's doesn't help you move forward. It only makes you feel inadequate or like you're falling behind. Instead of focusing on others, focus on yourself. Look at where you were a year ago, or even a few months ago. Have you improved? Have you learned new things? Have you made progress toward your goals? Celebrate that. Celebrate your growth. Because that's what matters. Now, you might be thinking, but it's hard not to compare myself. I see everyone else doing well and I feel like I should be there, too. I get it. But let me remind you of something. Their timing is not your timing. And that's perfectly fine. Some people may seem to have things figured out earlier than you. Maybe they started their business before you, or maybe they're getting more recognition. But here's the key point. Their success doesn't take away from yours. There's enough room for everyone to succeed. And your success is still coming, even if it takes a little longer to show up. The danger of comparison is that it can cause you to lose your focus. You start chasing someone else's dream instead of your own. You start thinking that success means doing things the same way they did it. But you're not them. You have your own strengths, your own skills, and your own path to follow. And that path will look different from everyone else's. That's what makes it special. One of the best things you can do for yourself is to get off the comparison treadmill. Every time you find yourself comparing, remind yourself that your journey is unique. You are on your own path, and it's okay if it looks different from someone else's. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Are you better today than you were yesterday? Are you moving closer to your goals? That's the only comparison that matters. Another important thing to remember is that success looks different for everyone. Someone might be successful in their career, while someone else might be successful in their family life or their personal health. Success isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. And just because someone's success doesn't look like yours doesn't mean it's any less valuable. The truth is, everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses. They have their own challenges. They have their own dreams. And so do you. The key is to focus on what you want and put in the work to make it happen. Don't waste your time looking over your shoulder at someone else's journey. Keep your eyes forward. Keep your eyes on your goals. You need to stop measuring your progress by someone else's standards. If you want to compare your past self to your present self. Compare where you started to where you are now. Look at the improvements you've made. Look at the growth you've achieved. And when you focus on that, you'll realize just how far you've come. And that's something no one else can take away from you. Another thing that comparison can do is make you feel like you're behind or not doing enough. But think about this. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's a marathon, not a sprint. There's no deadline on your dreams. Your success doesn't need to happen on anyone else's timeline. So, stop rushing. Stop pressuring yourself to get there at the same pace as everyone else. Your journey is your own, and it's okay to take it at your own speed. Remember, life is not a race. It's a process, and the more you compare, the less you enjoy the journey. You miss the small victories, the lessons, the moments that shape you, because all your focus is on what someone else is doing. Instead of focusing on their progress, focus on your own. Keep moving forward, no matter how slow it may seem. Keep putting in the work, and trust that your time will come. Here's something important. The people you're comparing yourself to, they've been through struggles, too. They've faced challenges. They've had setbacks. But they kept going. And that's exactly what you need to do. Keep going. Don't give up because someone else seems to be ahead. You have your own path to follow, and it's just as valuable. So, here's the challenge. The next time you catch yourself comparing your journey to someone else's, stop. Take a step back and remember that your life is your own. Your dreams are your own. Focus on your goals. Track your progress. And celebrate the small wins. Stay focused on your own growth, because when you do, you'll realize that the only competition you have is the person you were yesterday. And that's a race you can win. 6. Create a plan and stick to it. When you set out to achieve something meaningful in life, you need more than just good intentions. You need a plan. A clear, actionable plan that outlines the steps you need to take to reach your goals. Without a plan, it's easy to get lost, to waste time, and to feel like you're spinning your wheels. A plan gives you direction, focus, and a sense of purpose. Think about this for a moment. If you're going on a road trip, you wouldn't just hop in the car and start driving. Buddy, the key is to take that big goal and break it into bite-sized pieces. This is where many people get stuck. They think that success is just about taking massive action all at once. But the truth is, progress comes from consistent small actions taken day after day. It's like putting one brick down at a time to build a house. Over time, those small steps add up to something bigger than you could have imagined. Once you have your steps, create a timeline. Set deadlines for when you want to achieve each milestone. It doesn't have to be rigid, but having a general time frame will keep you accountable. Deadlines help you focus and avoid procrastination. Without deadlines, it's easy to let time slip by, thinking, I'll do it tomorrow. But remember, time doesn't wait. Every day is an opportunity to move closer to your goal, and you don't want to waste it. Now, let's talk about sticking to the plan. This is where most people fall short. It's easy to get excited at the beginning of a new project, but sticking with it day after day can be tough. It requires discipline and consistency. But let me tell you something. Success isn't about talent or luck. It's about discipline. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. Here's a secret. When you make a commitment to yourself, it's important to honor that commitment. When you say you're going to do something, do it. Whether it's working out, reading, or making progress on your business, you need to make that plan a priority. Because every time you follow through, you build trust in yourself. You show yourself that you can rely on you, and that trust is everything when it comes to achieving your goals. Now, I know life doesn't always go according to plan. There will be obstacles. There will be distractions. There will be days when things don't go the way you want them to. But that's okay. The key is to stick with the plan, even when things get tough. If you face a setback, don't give up. Adjust, refine your approach, but don't abandon the goal. The road to success is rarely a straight line. It's full of twists and turns, but as long as you keep going, you're making progress. Another important piece of sticking to your plan is accountability. This is where having someone to support you can make all the difference. Find a mentor, a friend, or a coach who can help you stay on track. Share your goals with them and let them check in on you. When you know someone else is counting on you to follow through, it gives you that extra push to stay disciplined and keep moving forward. But even if you don't have someone to check in with, you can still hold yourself accountable. Keep a journal or a planner where you track your progress every day. Write down what you accomplished. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small. When you can look back and see how far you've come, it keeps you motivated to keep going. Now, let's talk about flexibility. Sticking to your plan doesn't mean being rigid. Life happens. Things change. You may need to adjust your plan along the way, and that's perfectly fine. Flexibility is key. The important part is to stay focused on the end result, even if the path to get there changes. You might need to tweak your approach or adjust your timeline, but as long as you're still moving towards your goal, you're on the right track. Also, remember that progress isn't always going to be fast. Sometimes it will feel like you're moving at a snail's pace. But don't get discouraged. Success takes time. Consistency over the long term is what gets you there. If you stick to your plan and keep putting in the work, even on the slow days, you will eventually see results. The key is persistence. One of the most powerful ways to stay on track with your plan is to remind yourself why you started in the first place. Why do you want to achieve this goal? What's driving you? When you have a strong why, it makes it easier to stay committed when the going gets tough. That why will keep you going, whether it's building a better future for your family, improving your health, or achieving personal growth. Your why is the fuel that keeps you moving forward. So, here's the key takeaway. Create a plan, break it down into actionable steps, set deadlines, stay disciplined, and when you face obstacles, don't quit. Adjust, adapt, and keep going. Stick to your plan, but stay flexible when necessary. Remember, success doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey, and it's one that you're fully capable of completing. The only way you'll fail is if you quit, and you're not a quitter. So keep going, and know that every step you take is one step closer to achieving your goals. Number 7. Celebrate small wins. One of the most overlooked secrets to success is the simple act of celebrating small wins. It's easy to get caught up in the big picture, the massive goals, the long-term achievements, the dream life you're working toward. But here's the truth. Success isn't just about reaching the big milestones. It's about recognizing and celebrating the small victories along the way. Think about it for a second. When you're on a long journey, whether it's building a business, losing weight, or learning a new skill, you're not going to get there all at once. You're going to take hundreds, if not thousands, of small steps before you achieve the big goal. And if you're only focused on the end result, you're going to miss all the little victories that happen in between. Let's take a real-world example. Say you're trying to lose 30 pounds. The ultimate goal is clear, but the journey is long. If you only wait until you've lost all the weight to celebrate, you could be looking at months or even years of waiting. But what if, instead of waiting for the finish line, you celebrated the small victories along the way? Maybe you celebrate when you lose the first 5 pounds, or when you make it through an entire week of healthy eating. Maybe you celebrate when you add an extra workout to your week or when you feel your energy levels go up. Each one of these small wins is a step toward your ultimate goal, and each one deserves recognition. Celebrating small wins is crucial because it helps keep you motivated. It reminds you that progress is happening, even when it feels slow. And here's the thing. The journey to success can sometimes feel like a grind. It can feel like you're not getting anywhere fast. But when you take the time to celebrate even the smallest victories, it gives you a sense of accomplishment, a sense of forward movement. And that keeps you going. You see, when you celebrate small wins, you build momentum. Every time you recognize and appreciate a step forward, you reinforce the positive behaviors and actions that got you there. It's like stacking blocks. The more blocks you stack, the higher you build. And over time, those small wins add up to something big. So the more you celebrate, the more likely you are to keep moving forward. Now I know what some of you might be thinking, but these small wins don't feel like much. They're just tiny steps. Let me tell you something. Those small steps are the foundation of success. Big things don't happen without small things adding up. Every success story you admire, whether it's an entrepreneur, a world-class athlete, or a best-selling author, didn't get there overnight. They celebrated small wins along the way. They acknowledged the little victories that, when stacked together, created something extraordinary. Celebrating small wins also shifts your mindset. Instead of focusing on what you haven't achieved yet, you start focusing on what you've already accomplished. This shift is powerful because it helps you stay positive and motivated. It's easy to get discouraged when you're only focused on the gap between where you are and where you want to be. But when you focus on the small wins, you start to realize how much progress you've made. This doesn't mean you're letting yourself off the hook or being complacent. Celebrating small wins isn't about being satisfied with mediocrity. It's about recognizing progress and reinforcing the habits that got you there. It's about giving yourself credit for showing up, doing the work, and taking those small steps toward your goal. And when you celebrate, you make the journey more enjoyable. You create positive reinforcement that makes you want to keep going. So, how do you celebrate these small wins? It doesn't have to be anything extravagant or over the top. Sometimes it's simply taking a moment to reflect on your progress and give yourself a pat on the back. Maybe it's treating yourself to something small, whether it's a favorite meal, a day off to relax, or a movie night. The key is to acknowledge your progress in a way that feels good to you. Celebrate in a way that makes you feel proud of what you've accomplished. One thing that can really help is keeping a success journal. Every time you hit a small milestone, write it down. This could be anything from hitting a target in your workout routine to finishing a chapter of a book you've been reading. When you look back on your journal, you'll see just how much progress you've made. This can be incredibly motivating, especially on the days when you feel like you're not getting anywhere. The journal becomes a reminder of how far you've come. Also, remember that celebrating small wins doesn't just mean celebrating achievements. It also means celebrating effort. Some days, simply showing up and doing the work is a victory in itself. Maybe you didn't hit your goal weight for the week, but you stayed on track and didn't give in to temptation. Maybe you didn't close that big deal today, but you made the right connections and took the next step forward. Effort is just as important as results, so celebrate that too. Here's the truth. Success isn't a straight line. It's a series of small steps, twists, turns, and adjustments. And if you wait until the end to celebrate, you'll miss out on a lot of opportunities to build your confidence, your momentum, and your joy along the way. So don't wait for the big win to celebrate. Celebrate the small victories, the progress, the effort. Those are the things that will keep you motivated and moving forward. Remember, every step forward is progress. Every day that you show up and do the work is a small win. Every moment you stay disciplined and focused is something worth celebrating. The more you celebrate those small wins, the more likely you are to achieve the big ones. And in the end, it's not just about the final destination, it's about the journey. So enjoy the ride, celebrate the small victories, and keep moving forward toward your ultimate goal. Number 8. Break big goals into small tasks. When it comes to achieving your goals, one of the most important things you can do is break them down into smaller, manageable tasks. You've probably heard the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day, and that's true. Big achievements don't happen overnight. But what you can do is focus on the small, everyday actions that will eventually lead you to success. And by breaking down your big goals into small tasks, you make the process not only easier but more achievable. Let's start by talking about the importance of this. When you set a big goal, it can feel overwhelming. You look at the size of the goal and think, how in the world am I going to accomplish all of that? It's easy to get discouraged when the goal feels too big, too distant, or too impossible. But here's the key. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't need to conquer the whole mountain today. What you need to do is take it one step at a time. One small task. One small action every day. For example, let's say your big goal is to write a book. It seems like a huge, daunting task, right? You might sit down and think, I have no idea where to start. How will I ever get this done? But what if instead of thinking about the entire book, you broke it down into smaller chunks? Maybe you start by setting a goal to write 500 words a day. That's it. 500 words. It's a small, achievable task. Over time, those 500 words add up. After a month, you could have 15,000 words written. Keep going like that, and before you know it, you've written a full book. What once seemed like an impossible task is now completely manageable because you broke it down into smaller tasks. The same principle applies no matter what your big goal is. Whether you want to start a business, lose weight, learn a new skill, or improve your finances, breaking your goal down into smaller tasks makes the process feel much more achievable. It helps you avoid feeling overwhelmed. It gives you clear direction and it helps you stay focused on what you need to do right now, not on how far away the end goal seems. Let's take another example. Let's say you want to get in better shape. Instead of thinking about the big picture, losing 30 pounds or running a marathon, focus on smaller, more immediate goals. Maybe your first task is to commit to exercising 3 times a week. Your next task might be to drink more water or eat healthier meals. Little by little, as you complete each of these small tasks, you'll start to see progress. And that progress will keep you motivated to keep going. Breaking big goals into small tasks also makes it easier to stay consistent. Success isn't about doing something massive every once in a while. It's about showing up consistently. When you break your goal into small tasks, it becomes something you can tackle every day, no matter how busy or distracted you might be. Even if you only have 15 minutes a day to work on it, that's enough to make steady progress. Those small tasks add up, and over time you'll find that you've made more progress than you ever expected. Let's talk about why this works. When you break a big goal into smaller tasks, you create momentum. Momentum is the driving force behind success. It's what keeps you moving forward, even when you don't feel like it. When you see progress, no matter how small, it motivates you to keep going. And the more progress you make, the more motivated you become, and the cycle continues. The small tasks you complete feed into a larger sense of accomplishment. Another powerful thing that happens when you break down your goals is that it helps you stay focused. It's easy to get distracted when you're working toward a big goal. You might start thinking, this is going to take so long, or, I don't even know if I can do it. But when you focus on the small tasks in front of you, you eliminate that overwhelm. You don't need to worry about how long it will take to reach the end goal. All you need to do is focus on what you can do today. You focus on one task at a time, and that keeps you moving forward. Here's another point. Breaking big goals down into small tasks helps you build a sense of control. You start to realize that achieving big things isn't about waiting for some magical moment or waiting for the perfect time. It's about taking consistent action, no matter how small, toward what you want. By focusing on small tasks, you can begin to feel like you have control over the process. And that's a powerful feeling. It removes the feeling of helplessness and puts you in the driver's seat of your own success. Now, let's talk about the importance of reviewing and adjusting your plan as you go along. As you complete each task, take a moment to reflect on your progress. Are you moving closer to your goal? Are the small tasks still working for you, or do you need to adjust them? It's okay to change things as you go along. Life happens, and things don't always go according to plan. But the key is to keep adjusting and moving forward. Don't let a setback or a change in direction stop you from continuing with your smaller tasks. Another benefit of breaking big goals into small tasks is that it makes it easier to stay positive. The longer you focus on the big picture, the more you may get discouraged. It can feel like you're not getting anywhere. But when you break it down, you'll see the small wins you're making every day. You'll start to realize that even the small steps matter. Progress isn't always fast, but it's still progress, and that's something worth celebrating. The final piece of the puzzle is patience. Achieving big goals takes time, and you need to be patient with the process. The smaller tasks might feel slow, but over time, they add up to significant results. Don't rush it. Stay focused. Keep breaking down your goals into smaller tasks, and trust the process. Every task you complete, no matter how small, brings you one step closer to your ultimate goal. So, here's the takeaway. Break your big goals down into small, manageable tasks. Focus on what you can do today. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. And trust that by consistently completing these small tasks, you will eventually reach your big goals. Success doesn't come from one giant leap. It comes from a series of small steps taken one at a time with patience and persistence. Number 9. Say no to distractions. If you want to achieve something meaningful, one of the most powerful things you can do is learn how to say no to distractions. The world is full of things pulling for your attention every day. There are new distractions, social media, emails, phone calls, the news, even just day-to-day life demands. And while these things may seem harmless on the surface, they can quickly eat up your time and derail your progress. But here's the hard truth. You cannot achieve great things if you're constantly distracted. Distractions are like tiny roadblocks that stop you from moving forward. They may seem small at first, but over time, they add up. And before you know it, you've lost hours, days, or even weeks that could have been spent making progress on your goals. Now I get it. It's not easy to block out distractions. It takes discipline and focus. But if you want to create the life you want, you've got to prioritize your time. You've got to protect your energy and your focus from the things that don't serve your goals. You can't afford to let every distraction take you off course. So let's talk about how you can say no to distractions and stay focused on what really matters. First, you need to recognize what your distractions are. This is the first step. Being honest with yourself about where your time is going. What are the things that pull your attention away from your goals? Maybe it's scrolling through social media for hours. Maybe it's getting caught up in conversations that don't move you forward. Maybe it's watching TV or mindlessly surfing the web. The key is to identify what's distracting you. Once you know what they are, you can take action to remove or reduce them. One of the most common distractions we face today is technology. It's amazing how much information we have at our fingertips, but it's also a huge time suck if we're not careful. Social media can be particularly distracting. You might start scrolling through your feed just to check in, and before you know it, you've spent an hour or more watching videos or reading posts that have nothing to do with your goals. And the worst part is, it's easy to justify it. You might tell yourself, it's just a few minutes, or, I deserve a break. But if you're constantly using your free time on distractions, you're stealing time from your future success. So what do you do about it? First, get clear about your priorities. What's more important? Scrolling through your phone or making progress toward your big goals? When you see it for what it is, a waste of time, you'll be more motivated to stay focused on the things that matter. A good strategy is to limit the time you spend on distractions. Maybe set specific times of day for checking social media or responding to emails, and outside of those times, stay focused on what matters. Or, if you find that certain apps or websites are constantly distracting you, try using tools that block them during work hours. These little adjustments can make a big difference in how much time you spend on what really matters. Another way to say no to distractions is to set boundaries with the people around you. This can be a tough one, especially if you're someone who likes to please others or is used to being available at all times. But you have to realize that your time is limited, and if you're constantly saying yes to everyone else's demands, you're saying no to your own goals. You need to protect your time and be willing to say no when someone asks for your attention in a way that doesn't align with your priorities. This could mean telling a friend, I can't chat right now, I'm working on something important. It could mean setting limits on how often you check your email or answering calls. Or it might mean saying no to commitments that don't align with your goals or values. Saying no isn't about being rude or selfish, it's about being responsible with your time. You can be polite but firm in your boundaries. Now, saying no to distractions doesn't just mean eliminating the obvious time wasters. It also means being intentional with your focus. It's about getting rid of the mental distractions that keep you from fully committing to your goals. How often do you find yourself thinking about 100 different things at once? How often do you get distracted by worries, doubts, or other people's opinions? To stay focused, you need to quiet your mind. One way to do this is through practices like meditation or deep breathing. Taking a few minutes to center yourself can help you clear away mental clutter and refocus on the task at hand. Another helpful tool is to write down your thoughts. If something is distracting you, write it down and come back to it later. The act of writing helps you externalize your thoughts so they don't keep spinning around in your head. The key to saying no to distractions is not to eliminate everything that's fun or enjoyable from your life. It's about being conscious of how much time you're spending on things that don't contribute to your goals. It's about being disciplined in how you use your time so that when you do relax or enjoy yourself, you can do so without guilt, knowing that you're also making progress toward your dreams. One important thing to keep in mind is that distractions will never go away completely. Life will always throw things at you: emergencies, unexpected events, or just the regular demands of daily life. But when you create the habit of saying no to distractions, you're building the muscle of focus. You're teaching yourself that your goals come first. And that consistency, that ability to stay focused, is what will make all the difference in the long run. Now, don't get me wrong, distractions are normal. You're not a robot and you're not perfect. There will be times when you slip up. But the key is to recognize it and get back on track quickly. The more you practice saying no to distractions, the easier it gets. Over time, it becomes second nature, and you start to see the power in staying focused. At the end of the day, saying no to distractions is about taking control of your time and your future. It's about being intentional with where you invest your energy and making sure you're moving closer to your goals every day. Your time is valuable, and every moment you spend focused on your goals is a moment that brings you one step closer to achieving them. So here's the takeaway. Say no to the distractions that don't serve your purpose. Say yes to the things that move you forward. Set boundaries with your time, protect your focus, and stay disciplined in the pursuit of your goals. The more you say no to distractions, the more you'll be able to say yes to success. Number 10. Visualize your success daily. One of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal in the pursuit of your goals is something you already carry with you: your imagination. Visualizing your success isn't just a nice idea. It's a proven method that top performers use to achieve their goals. By seeing your success in your mind every day, you're setting the stage for real, tangible results. When I say visualize your success, what I'm talking about is more than just daydreaming or wishing. It's about creating a mental picture of where you want to go and then focusing on it daily. You need to imagine the feeling of success, the process, and the steps it takes to get there. It's about turning your dreams into something concrete in your mind so that your actions, thoughts, and energy align with that vision. Let's talk about why this works. The mind is incredibly powerful. When you visualize something, you're essentially programming your subconscious to work toward that outcome. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real experience and one that you vividly imagine. So when you repeatedly visualize your success, your mind starts to believe that it's possible, and it begins to look for ways to make it happen. It's like planting a seed in your mind and nurturing it every day so it grows into something real. Think about it this way. If you're driving somewhere you've never been before, you need to know where you're going. You wouldn't just get in your car and drive without a destination in mind. The same goes for your goals. If you don't have a clear picture of where you want to go, how can you expect to get there? Visualization gives you that clear picture. It helps you see the end result. But more importantly, it helps you see the steps you need to take to get there. It's like creating a roadmap for your future. Now, let's talk about how you can make visualization a daily habit. It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the simpler you keep it, the better. The key is consistency. Set aside a few minutes each day to close your eyes and visualize your success. Picture yourself living the life you want, whether that's achieving your career goals, getting in better shape, building stronger relationships, or whatever success looks like for you. See it in detail. What do you look like? How do you feel? What's your environment like? Who's with you? The more vivid you make the picture, the more real it will feel. But here's the key. Don't just visualize the end result. Visualize the process as well. Visualize the steps you need to take to get there. See yourself overcoming challenges, staying disciplined, and pushing through tough days. Visualizing the process helps you build resilience. It gets you prepared for the obstacles that will inevitably come up, and it strengthens your belief that you can handle them when they do. And as you visualize, don't just see it passively, feel it. Engage your emotions. Feel the excitement of success, the pride in your accomplishments, the joy of reaching your goal. Your emotions are a powerful part of the visualization process because they give energy to the vision. The more real and powerful your feelings are, the more likely your subconscious mind will take that vision seriously and work to make it a reality. It's also important to visualize in the present tense. See yourself as if you've already achieved the success you're aiming for. Instead of saying, "One day I will be successful," say, "I am successful." This shift in language changes the way your mind perceives your goal. It reinforces the belief that your success is inevitable, that you're already on the path to it. The more you practice this, the more your mind will start to believe that success is just a natural part of your journey. Now, here's another thing. Visualization isn't just about wishful thinking. It's about combining your vision with action. If you visualize your success every day but don't take action toward your goals, you're not going to see the results you want. Visualization is a tool that works best when paired with hard work, discipline, and consistent effort. It helps you stay focused on your goals, especially when things get tough. It reminds you of the big picture and why it's worth it to keep pushing forward. Here's something that might surprise you. Visualization is not just for big goals, it can be used for the small, everyday tasks as well. For example, let's say you're preparing for a big presentation at work. Before you walk into that meeting, take a few minutes to visualize yourself speaking confidently, answering questions smoothly, and making a strong impression. By visualizing yourself succeeding in that situation, you'll walk in with more confidence, and you'll perform better. The same goes for any task, big or small. Visualization helps you create a mindset of success before you even begin. Visualization also helps you develop a sense of certainty. When you can see your success in your mind every day, it becomes less of a dream and more of a certainty. You know where you're going and you believe you can get there. The more certain you are about your success, the more you're going to act with conviction. When you're certain about where you're headed, you're more likely to take the actions that will get you there. And that certainty will inspire others around you too. The beauty of visualization is that it's a tool that you can use anytime, anywhere. You don't need special equipment or a specific setting. You can do it in the morning before you start your day, during your lunch break, or right before you go to bed. Even a few minutes of focused visualization can make a big difference in how you approach your day. Remember, the mind doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's vividly imagined. So by visualizing your success daily, you're priming your mind to see new opportunities, make better decisions, and stay on track. It's a simple but incredibly powerful practice that can change the way you approach your goals. So, here's the takeaway. Make visualization a daily habit. Take a few minutes each day to see yourself succeeding, to feel the emotions of your success, and to visualize both the end result and the process it takes to get there. See it in vivid detail. Believe in it, and take action to make it real. The more you visualize your success, the more it will become a part of your reality. To wrap this up, I want to leave you with a powerful quote that sums everything up. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. When you find joy in the journey, whether it's the work, the growth, or the little wins, you'll be amazed at how much more you can achieve. You've got the tools now. You've learned the 10 secrets to achieving everything you want in life. Now, it's your turn to take action. No more excuses. No more waiting for the perfect moment. Start today. Start right now. Remember, the road to success isn't always easy, but with the right mindset, focus, and consistent effort, you'll get there. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep moving forward. And most importantly, enjoy the process. Every step is progress. Thank you for watching, and if this video inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep growing together. You've got this. Quote.